Okay, looks like we are live on Facebook. I just want to confirm that, so I'm going to have a quick peek at my page. And it looks like yes. Okay. I'm a little late today. I had a chiropractic appointment. I developed really bad back pain this winter. Been going through a lot of family stress. And anyway, it's starting to do better, but still it kind of wipes me out. So we're almost done the chapter on brain fog. Can't believe it. It goes so quickly. I'm so glad that I thought of this way of doing it because I don't know how else I would have gotten this done. And with these 5 questions today, that's the end of the chapter on brain fog. So we left off on the 26th. So we got the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31. So I'm going to put those questions into the comment. And I am recording this. It's going to end up being parked in the School of Perimenopause. Please go check that out. I've got 73 people now you can join for free. There's a lot more at the paid level, but there's, I think, 26 different things now at the free level, including these videos, answering questions specifically. There's little short videos as far as, descriptions of the symptoms and handouts and medical studies and anything I see that is of interest for us, I take a copy of it and put it into the School of Perimenopause and it sits there for free. So anybody can take advantage of that stuff. Plus my classes are in there on the bronze level, and then there's the speakers are at the free level, and then the classes are at the silver or gold level. Gold gives you access to everything that I have created and everything that I will create because I'm continuing to create. Right now, I am writing a book. Okay, so, oh, sorry, I just noticed it says your video is partially muted due to a copyright match. So yeah, I'm using my song that I copywrote, like it's mine. The Heat. I wrote that. It's been on my album out from 2007, so there should be no copyright infringement issue with me sharing something that I own. Anyway, here is the question for January 27th. I was driving and I knew exactly where I was going. And then I realized that I went the old way to one of my favorite spots that has now closed. I was so embarrassed, even though no one was in the car with me and it only made me a little bit late. Can you really just zone out like that from brain fog? This again is a question from my own life. And yes, you can. It's one of those things where, especially with something like driving, where at first, when you're first learning it, it's really involved, and then it just becomes a habit and you just get used to going a certain way. If you're thinking about, like I want to get a book, and you'll just go driving to the bookstore that you always went to. And sometimes the problem with that is that that store no longer exists, or you have to go a different way. The embarrassment again is part of that reaction of like, oh, geez, I really messed up and I'm not who I used to be. Zoning out, it's uncomfortable, but it's not particularly dangerous. And in this particular case, there was no one else in the car. I have had that with someone where I hadn't zoned out, but I was going in a different way than what she was used to. And, that was very hard for her to adjust to because I was driving. I think it was a control issue and not so much, you know, something going. I wasn't having brain fog. I was just going in a different way. So yes, you can zone out like that. There's a lot of misplacing things and words. That's one of the things where you can be talking and you're fine and you're not actually feeling like you're having brain fog, but then all of a sudden you don't have word retrieval. That is kind of a zone out, and it can happen for a few moments, and sometimes the word is just gone. One of the clever replies that you can try for something like that is one of the suggestions in the group is saying, what's that word again in English? It makes it sound like you're bilingual when you're not. So that's the only thing about that. be careful how you use that, because someone might be like, oh, what's your first language? And then you have to be like, English. But that is a funny way to get around it. Um, it's best if you just have a plan and stick to it when you're planning your route to get somewhere. I usually have, like, even the other day, I was going somewhere I've been many times, but we moved 2 years ago, so I'm coming at it from a different angle, and I just put it into my GPS just so that I wouldn't have to worry about that. That's one way you can take advantage of technology and just make your life a little simpler. January 28th, brain fog has interfered so badly with my confidence. I want to apply for a better position at work, but I'm worried that if I do get an interview, I will be having a bad day and blow it. Worse yet, what if I get the job but can't handle all the responsibilities anymore? This again is another one from my own life experience. Um, Brain fog can really mess with your confidence. If you used to have a really good memory and now, like my husband will tease me about my filing system because it's kind of a nightmare, but I would be able to go and get something immediately. I knew exactly where it was. It just wasn't necessarily in alphabetical order. Um, and then right around 50, I couldn't do that anymore. And I started misplacing things. And my filing cabinet now is a mess because I have a different file that's for the same thing, and I'm using two different files and not realizing that. So be aware that that is something that can happen. It can mess with your confidence, but go for it anyway. I just got rejected from the Canadian Menopause Society. I applied for the executive director position. And although I've run my own small business for, my whole life, really, I started working when I was, well, 10, actually. I started dog walking. 17, I became a professional musician. So I have a lot of business experience, but I didn't have, I don't have a master's degree, and I don't have experience running a big company or a big corporation or a nonprofit. So that was a bit of a stretch, but I applied for it anyway, even though I didn't know whether I would get it or not. And just going through the effort of applying boosted my confidence. I had to do a resume that was specific to that job. And that helped me to actually look and see all of the things that I have done in the last 5 years. Yeah, the way that I work has changed, but it's still a lot of really good quality work. And then that fear, what if I get the job and can't handle the responsibilities anymore? That's just projecting into the future. That's a mindset thing. That's where you look at it mindfully and you say, okay, what if I can't handle all the responsibilities? You don't even know what all the responsibilities are because you don't have that job yet. And a lot of the time for us, in my experience anyway, when we're put to the task and need to actually figure out a way to do it, we do figure out a way to do it. We are still getting things done, and our houses are still running, and our jobs are still happening, and our families are still fed. So don't buy into feeling that lack of confidence. Challenge yourself by doing something that's a little bit hard every day. Just a little bit hard will help your confidence. And then if there is a position that you want to apply for, go for it. I've helped a couple of my clients now get back to work or get a promotion from work when previously they were either too sick to work or they didn't have the confidence to apply for that promotion. And a lot of it is just having someone in their corner believing that they can do it. So do that for yourself, or get a friend to help you to do that. Get a confidence buddy. Confidence buddy. I'm going to write that down. That's a great idea. All right. January 29th. My brain fog has been so bad that I had to take a demotion at work, and it's affecting how I feel about myself at work and at home. Is this what I have to look forward to for the rest of my life? Oh, geez. I had to talk with someone. I had to talk someone down about this one because it's true. Taking a demotion is a real thing that can happen and has happened and does happen and will happen. It's not going to be for the rest of your life, though. This is something that's temporary. It's a thing that's happened. It's not great. Don't let it crush you. It's not going to be every day. It's not going to be for the rest of your life. It's for right now. And even at that, I would also say if you've been asked to or put in a position where you need to take a demotion, you might want to look at other work. There might be a different job that you can be doing that's going to be better pay and better for your self-esteem than taking a demotion, because it really does affect how you feel. But keep in mind, it's a temporary situation. From what I hear from women all the time, it does turn around. At some point, the menstruation stops. You have your 365 days. Your period is over. You're considered postmenopausal. At some point in the postmenopausal years, most of us, it's 80% can expect that their symptoms will no longer be disruptive to the same point, and they'll have adjusted to lowered hormones and be able to get by and function just fine. So you can keep that in mind, that it's not permanent and you don't have to look forward to demotions and losing things for the rest of your life. It's just for right now. Okay, January 30th. I can't believe how spinny I feel sometimes. I'm even dizzy on brain fog days. Mistakes happen and I don't know if I was responsible or if it was someone else. What can I do? So my take on it as a yoga therapist is spinny is lack of groundedness. You're not grounded. You have to do things to ground yourself. So these things sound silly, but eat potatoes. Root vegetables are very grounding. Go for a walk. It sounds funny if you're feeling dizzy, but go for a little walk, not a big power walk, not a big deal walk, a little walk. You can practice going upside down. Now, it could make the dizziness feel a little bit worse, but one of the things that can happen is you can end up with the little hairs inside of your ears laying flat instead of being upright. They help you with your proprioception and your balance, and and with the hairs sitting down, then you end up with this sensation of dizziness from the crystals inside the inner ear. So when you actually go into different positions, and there's a name for this, I can't remember what it's called, of course, off the top of my head, but you basically throw yourself around, throw yourself back until you make yourself dizzy, and then you let the dizziness subside, and then you throw yourself to one side until it subsides, and then you throw yourself to the other side until it subsides. And it's worked for me many times. Or even just laying a little bit upside down in a very mild, a slight inversion can sometimes make a huge difference. Now, this is awkward, but I have to go because I'm cooking dinner and I'm by myself right now. So, well, my husband is here, but he's sleeping. So I will be right back. Okay, so I will look up that maneuver for dizziness, but I learned it from my family doctor and it's come up a few times. It's very effective. And it can be scary, like the dizziness caused more anxiety for me. Um, but it worked. So I just muscle through that part now. All right, January 31st. I wanted to go back to school and get a master's degree, but then suddenly I can't read anymore. I used to be an avid reader and I loved reading. Should I still try and go for it? I don't know if I can do it. This one again is from my life experience, and it's the same thing as anything else. Exercise, confidence, you know, you don't know how you're going to do it. When I had my young kids, I had to go back to school and I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how that would be possible. I was having trouble getting through the day with two little kids, and I wasn't having to go outside of the house and work and go to school and all of the things that I was doing. I had no idea if I'd be capable of doing it. And yet somehow, day by day, every day you do. Um, So, and the reading stuff, if you do have a learning problem, you can go as an adult, at least in Canada, you can go to any university and say you think you have a learning problem or issue. They will pay for, the government will pay for the psychological pseudo education assessment. Pseudo, not pseudo, but psychological educational, psychoeducational assessment. And if they find anything, they will help you with that with school. And then what I've learned from others at the master's program level, if you get into the master's program, they want you to finish and they will hold your hand through the whole thing to help you finish if that's what's needed. Is it going to cause more stress in your life? Possibly. You'll need to be definitely doing a lot of stress busters, this one, and also taking a job with more responsibility. Same thing. You really have to focus on treating your stress and anxiety. Don't try and do it if you need antidepressants and not taking them, you know, like that's one of the things that I kind of feel a little bit silly about, that I didn't do that earlier in my journey. I didn't start until I was 50, even though I'd been recommended to try it when I was in my 20s. I just white knuckled it that whole time. Use all of the help if you want to go back to school. I had one friend, when I announced I wanted to go back and finish my master or my music degree, say that you know, I shouldn't use having chronic inflammation and pericarditis as an excuse, because she had MS and decided to go back and became a social worker. And they helped her to finish that master's degree. Like, she finished her bachelor and then her master's. So don't let those kind of keep in mind, right? Again, that it's temporary. Perimenopause is very stressful and it can last a long time, but eventually your body adjusts to less hormones and you're able to go about your business. So don't act like your life is over. Don't let it stop you from doing the things that you want to do. I did still think about going for a master's degree, and I might still do that one day. But when I was, you know, kind of debating about what direction to take most recently, I decided that I'd rather write. I'd rather just write. So I'm working on this book proposal right now and quite happy about it. All right, that's the end of all of our brain fog questions. If you're watching these videos and you have more questions, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And other people will have the same questions too. So don't think that, you know, you're taking up time asking questions. You know, like if you ask me a couple questions, it's no problem. It's if you keep asking me questions and you want me to work for free, that then we have an issue. But if I said something that you're not sure about and you want to clarify, or if you think I forgot something, if you think I didn't cover something about brain fog, let me know.